Greetings everyone, welcome back to Nick's Mods. Stronius is another rock-solid Glatorian design, literally. A testament to how cohesive and unique a canister set could still be at that late date, with just a few new molds. But I didn't like how short he was. I realize now this was silly to get hung up on, but I was always annoyed when Bionicle's heroes looked bigger and more powerful than the villains. The Anika were taller than the Paraka, the Mahri were taller than the Baraki, on average, and even in as diverse a setting as Baramagna, the most heroic Glatorian like Gresh and Akar were always the tallest. I wanted the odds clearly stacked against them, so I set out to make Stronius the biggest, meanest Glatorian on the planet next to Tuma, who I was also modding at the time but never finished. So now they're the same height and Stronius is heavier. I started by bulking up his torso with a 2008 Makuta one that went nicely with Stronius' chest. This part would see the most changes by far. For the legs I turned to another line, Knight's Kingdom. The brutal nubs on Vladik's armor felt close enough, and as far as I know, all year 2 and 3 Knight's Kingdom shin armor fits perfectly over Bionicle's Paraka shins. I started with these taller, bulkier feet, but eventually settled for the slightly shorter Rakshi ones, as I thought the shaping most closely matched the shin armor. For the arms, I started with a trick I've used a few times before, Toamata feet as upper arms. We were getting there, but these drew too much attention away from his iconic shoulder armor to look very natural, so I switched back to more normal arms, a rare case of CCBS shells on both sides of a limb. By this point, Stronius' lower body was feeling a bit skimpy. I typically give all of my Glatorian mods some sort of skirts, but the only appropriate piece I could think of for Stronius was one he already had. By now his club was also looking kinda small, but adding a second end wasn't practical, and just lengthening the handle made it flimsier. So I worked in a hilt to protect his hand and continue the shape of the thing, tipped with a curved claw. From here it was mostly cleanup, swapping out parts for similarly sized parts, filling out the torso, here's what that looks like by the way, and topping it off with an unexpected boon of a piece. This spiky CCBS texture add-on isn't a perfect match for Stronius' nubs, but it's very close. I just started putting these everywhere, even creating something of a spine. Used 7 in total. As a final touch, I like to sometimes display him with a scroll shield. The red's slightly off, and it's a bit small now, but I enjoy imagining him smacking the club on the shield to taunt his enemies. And that's Stronius, no taller than the tallest of some of my other Glatorian mods, but all his extra bulk makes him the heaviest, and his proportions might feel the most organic and realistic out of all my mods. He's basically the mountain. Well, that's it for today. To support my work, check out my books on Amazon and itch.io, and my Patreon page where you can get videos like this a week early, your name in the credits, behind the scenes content, art streams, a patron-exclusive Discord server, and signed copies of Planet Ripple shipped to your doorstep. See you next mod. Toodles!